Before the lights came on, before the judges even knew her name, a 16-year-old girl stood backstage trembling, holding a cracked microphone with both hands, whispering a prayer her mother taught her back home in the Philippines. She had crossed oceans, survived heartbreak, and carried a secret that could change everything. What happened next shocked the judges, silenced the crowd, and made history on America's Got Talent. If you believe dreams can rise from struggle, subscribe now and stay with us, because this story will stay in your heart long after the final note fades. Her name was Maria Luz Santiago, though on that stage she would simply be introduced as Maria from the Philippines. To the audience, she looked like any other shy teenager, slim shoulders slightly hunched, eyes darting across the massive theater as if she had accidentally walked into a world far bigger than herself. But behind those eyes lived a story filled with sacrifice, loss, courage, and a voice shaped by pain and hope. Maria was born in a small coastal town where the houses were made of tin and wood, where storms came without warning and music was often the only comfort when the power went out. Her father was a fisherman who sang old love songs while repairing his nets, and her mother worked long hours as a cleaner, humming lullabies while cooking rice over a single flame. Music was never a dream at first. It was survival. When Maria was 8 years old, a powerful typhoon swept through their town, destroying boats, homes, and futures. Her father never returned from the sea that night. His boat was found days later, broken in half, drifting like a ghost. From that moment on, Maria's mother became everything. Provider, protector, believer. To help support the family, Maria sang in the local market, her small voice cutting through the noise of bargaining and traffic. People stopped not because she was loud, but because she was honest. Her voice carried a sadness that didn't belong to a child, and somehow, that made it beautiful. Years passed, and Maria grew. Her voice changed, deepened, gained power, but the innocence remained. When she was 13, her mother was offered a chance to work abroad as a caregiver in the United States. It was a decision that broke both of them. Maria stayed behind with her aunt, while her mother left with promises of a better future and weekly phone calls filled with encouragement. From across the ocean, her mother became Maria's biggest supporter, sending recordings of American talent shows and telling her, "One day you will stand on that stage." But life did not move in straight lines. At 15, Maria lost her aunt suddenly to illness. With no parents nearby and no stable home, Maria nearly gave up everything. She stopped singing for months. Her teachers noticed the silence and worried. It was one teacher, Mrs. Delgado, who finally convinced her to sing again during a school assembly. That performance went viral locally. A community fundraiser was organized. Strangers donated small amounts. Enough for a plane ticket. Enough for a dream that felt impossible. When Maria arrived in the United States, she reunited with her mother for the first time in 3 years. They cried in each other's arms at the airport, holding on as if afraid the moment would disappear. Her mother worked double shifts so Maria could attend vocal lessons at a community center. Every night, Maria practiced while her mother slept on the couch, exhausted but smiling whenever she heard the notes floating through their tiny apartment. The audition day arrived faster than either of them expected. Maria barely slept the night before. She wore a simple dress her mother bought secondhand and clutched a small necklace that once belonged to her father. Backstage, surrounded by confident performers and loud laughter, she felt invisible. When her name was called, her knees nearly gave out. The stage lights were blinding. The audience was a blur. Then she saw the judges. Simon Cowell leaned forward, curious but unreadable. Amanda Holden smiled warmly. The other judges waited, pens ready. When asked why she was there, Maria spoke softly. She said she was singing for her father, for her mother, and for every kid who thinks their dream is too big. Then she began to sing. The first note was gentle, almost fragile. The room leaned in. By the second line, her voice expanded, rich and emotional, filled with years of longing and resilience. It wasn't just singing. It was storytelling. Each word carried weight. Halfway through the song, the music dropped to near silence, and Maria sang a single line a cappella that echoed through the theater. You could hear people holding their breath. Then came the twist no one expected. Her voice soared into a powerful high note that shook the room. The audience erupted. One judge covered their mouth. Simon's expression changed completely. Amanda's eyes filled with tears. Maria closed her eyes, pouring everything she had into the final chorus, thinking only of her father's voice on the beach, her mother's sacrifices, and the long road that led her there. As the last note faded, there was a moment of stunned silence. Then the crowd exploded to their feet. A standing ovation that felt endless. Maria stood frozen, unsure if she should bow or cry. Her hands shook. Her eyes searched the judge's table. Simon stood up. He said he had heard thousands of voices, but this one felt real. He said Maria didn't just sing a song, she lived it. Another judge called her performance unforgettable. Maria tried to smile through tears. Then Amanda Holden stood. She spoke about how rare it is to see someone so young carry such depth. She said Maria reminded her why this show exists. She paused, looked at Maria, and asked one simple question. Are you ready for your life to change? Before Maria could answer, Amanda reached out and slammed the golden buzzer. Gold confetti rained from above. The audience screamed. Maria collapsed to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Her mother ran from backstage, holding her tight as they cried together beneath the falling gold. It was a moment that felt unreal, like a dream breaking into reality. But the story didn't end there. In the weeks that followed, Maria faced new challenges. Fame came fast. Interviews, rehearsals, pressure. Online critics questioned her background. Some said her story was too sad. Others accused the show of exaggeration. Maria saw the comments and nearly withdrew again. She doubted herself. One night, she told her mother she didn't want to continue. Her mother held her face and said something Maria would never forget. You sang in the market when no one was watching. You can sing now when the whole world is. During the live shows, Maria chose a risky song, one that demanded control and vulnerability. Halfway through, the backing track malfunctioned. The music cut out completely. Gasps filled the theater. Maria froze for half a second. Then she remembered who she was. She continued singing, completely a cappella, filling the space with raw, unfiltered emotion. The audience clapped in rhythm. The judges stood again. When the music returned, Maria finished stronger than ever. That performance cemented her place not just as a contestant, but as a symbol of resilience. Win or lose, she had already won something greater. A voice, a platform, a future shaped by courage. Today, Maria dreams of building a music school in her hometown so children like her can find hope through song. She still wears her father's necklace. She still calls her mother her hero. And every time she steps on stage, she remembers the girl who once sang in a noisy market and dared to believe she belonged somewhere brighter.